Okay, Gitfach. We're in the middle of the Agadata of Rabbi Rachana, the famous Agadata in Mahamikras Asvina, and we're on Ayin Gimel Amid Beis. Ayin Gimel Amid Beis. We're right at one. With 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lines up. Right, we're 6 lines up. For Amar Rabbi Rachana, Zimnacha the one time. How do you call Zilna Madbara? I was going in the midbar. It's Lave Bahadon Hahut Hayad. There was an Arab that was accompanying us. Umarachle and Tavishakal Afro Umarachle, speaking about smelling Rabbi Avi, he picked up the earth and he smelled it. And he would say, Ha'urcha leduchta plan. This is the way to go to such and such a place. You know, as he was able to say, Lenny, we're on the where we left off. Ayin Gimel on the base at the bottom. But Urcha Duchta Plan, in other words, he was the original ways. He was able to smell dirt and tell you exactly which way to go. Amrinale, Kama Merachika Mimaya, how far are we from water? Well, Malan, he said to us, Havilan Afra, give me some earth. Yavinale, he gave it to him. The Yamala, Tamni Parse, he said, 8 parses. We go ahead and we gave him other earth, and Amalani, the Marchikin Tlasa Parse, now we're 3 parses away from the water. After slave, we switched around the earth, we weren't able to get him. In other words, this guy, he was really good. This guy was really good with the earth. He was able to tell the difference, and there's nothing to on the story, we're not expounding at all. Amali, Te Achvele Mese Midbar. This story we are going to expound upon. The Arabs said to him, you want to see the Mese Midbar? The people who died in the Midbar after the Cheda Meraglim. So, Azli Chazina, we saw them. Vidamu Kiman the Misfase. And they looked if they were what? They looked like they were drunk. No, they looked like they were drunk. If you look at Taisus says, Vidamu Kiman the Misfase, Mikan Mashma Kiman the Omar Bechelik, Mese Midbar Yeshlem Chelik Leum Haba. That there's a machlokes where the Mese Midbar have a Chelik Leum Haba. So these people, obviously their complexion, they had skin and they were smiling and they looked so well and healthy. It must be they have a chelik felim haba, or else they would have been a bigger bones. Okay, and they looked like they were drunk. Viganu amin aleph, viganu aparkid. They were lying on their backs. This is the source for burying people on their backs. V'havisakifa birchei dechad minayu. And the knee of one of them was raised up. The ayil tayot tute birke, and the Arab, he was able to pass underneath it. Beirachiv gamla, while he was riding on his camel. It was a kifa rumche, and not only was he riding on his camel, but his spear was high. And he didn't even go ahead and touch. He didn't even go ahead and touch get to the knee. Obviously, the Mese Midbar must have been very tall. Paski chod the karno de techilta the chad minayu. So Rabbi Rachani cut off one of the tzitzis of one of them. He cut off one of the tzitzis of one of the people that were lying there. Lehavi mistagilon. But what happened was the animal stopped moving. In other words, he wanted to take back this sample of the tzitzis of the Mese Midbar, but the animals weren't moving on. Amalei, the Arab said to him, Dil meshakla midi minayu. Maybe you took something from them. So a hajre, the gemiri, the man the shakal midi minayu le mistagilen. If you take something, you can't go on. So Azal hajre, Rabbi Barachana turned around and put back the sample of tzitzis that he had cut. V'had mistagilen, and they were able to go on. Kiyasa the kamei Rabbanon, when Rabbi Barachana came in front of the Chachamim. They said to him, Kol Abba Chamra, every Abba is a donkey, he's foolish like a donkey, but Kol Bar Chana Sichsa is a fool. What's the reason that you cut this sample? Is Lemeda Kibesil Beishamai, Kibesham Beisilo. Fellas, Machloikis and Menachis, that how many strings do we put in tzitzis? 3 or 4. Beisilo says 3. Beis Shammai says 4. This is one of the few places we pass like Beis Shammai, actually. We pass like Beis Shammai that you put in 4. So you don't have to bring it. not only should you go to count the strings, you should have gone ahead and counted the chulias, like while we wrap around. You should have done that as well. So that's the story. Now, I'd like to digress from Agadata and get into a little halacha about mason wearing tzitzis. Do you bury a mace with tzitzis or not? Do you bury a mace with tzitzis or not? So take a look at Tosfos. Pasuk chada karna dechilta. He cut off one of the edges of the beged. Mashmahacha sheyesh tzitzis lemason. Mashma over here, where obviously the mason mid were wearing tzitzis, so you see that mason do wear tzitzis. However, v'yesh litchais, we can go ahead and say it's not a good raya. That they entered the kever, they were alive. They went into their graves. Like one of the reasons the tu ba'av, fellas, is a yontif, is the Mesei Midbar. They said anyone in tu ba'av, they said that whoever is dead, whoever's alive, get up, and everyone got up. So that was the reason the gezerah of the midbar was over. That the gezerah of the midbar was over. So says Taisvis, there's no raya that a dead person wears tzitzis because they went in, they were alive. They would lie down in their graves. They dug their own graves, they lie down. And they didn't get up, But so you can't bring a raya from there that you do wear tzitzis. You can't bring a raya from there that you do wear tzitzis. Now, if you go down in Taisvis quite a bit, you see where it says in parentheses, Shabbos Daf Lamed? In parentheses, you have Menachos, Brachos, Shabbos, and a few lines after that it says, that Kivin Shemes, Nasa Adam Choshim in mitzvahs, Aval Kosha Ala Minik, Shenoigim Lahasir Tzitzis Mitalisa Shal Mason. That we go ahead, we take off the tzitzis of Mason. In other words, we wounded tzitzis. Sheshama Bezikne Luther, he heard from Lorraine, he heard from the Zakaner of Lorraine, Lefi Shetzitzis Eidisu, Shekayim Kol HaTorah, that tzitzis is a Eidis that you kept the whole Torah. The tzitzis oila, the gematria of tzitzis, guys, is Tuf Reish, right? Tuf Reish is 600, the Ches Chutin, and you have 8 strings, the Heik Sharim and 5 knots, which is Harei Tuf Reish Yud Gimel. So that's how your tzitzis go ahead and remind you. The word, the gematria of tzitzis is 600, and this 8 strings is 608, and this 5 knots is 613. So by looking at your tzitzis, you know it testifies like you're looking at your mitzvahs. And if tzitzis is not so chashuvim that people didn't wear them, you bury them in them. So it's like Eid Sheker that they kept the whole Torah. They didn't keep the whole Torah. They didn't keep everything. The Re says in his days, not every person wore a garment of 4 corners, and therefore they mevatel tzitzis. So I looked up the halacha. This is in Shin Nun Aleph. It's mamish a 2-liner. First, tachrichi ameis mutal asayis mekalayim. The shrouds of a mace you can make from kalayim because they're pater from mitzvahs. This is Yeridea Shin and Aleph. Sifkat and Beis. Ein koivim es hameis ela betalish sheyesh b'tzitzis. Says the Mechaber, you bury a mace with what? With tzitzis. You go ahead and bury a mace with tzitzis, and it has tzitzis on it. Says the Ramah, v'yesh oimim dein tzarich tzitzis. They don't need tzitzis. They're chavshim in mitzvahs. You don't bury them with anything. The nogul kavrei b'tzitzis. A minig is to bury them with tzitzis. Ach shepoislin tchila hat tzitzis. You go ahead. You pastel the tzitzis. Oy korchem echad min haknafoi. So you tie up one of the knafim. The Bach says that you don't mamish pastel it. It says that you either tie the tzitzis together or you go ahead and put it like in a pocket. Now, very fascinating. The Rabbi Gershom says, he said that you don't need tzitzis at all. When Rabbi Gershom or Agoylu was nifta, he said tzitzis chutz, but they didn't understand what he meant. Did he mean that you should go ahead and remove the tzitz or put the tzitzis on top of the oren? He didn't. It wasn't clear. So clearly, we paskin like the Ramah. We paskin like the Ramah that when a person dies, we go ahead and we cut off the end of the tzitz, or we put it in. That tzitzis is not. It's like loig l'roish. But here's a fascinating story I found. This guy's fascinating. In the This is in Shin Aleph. This is in the Aruch HaShulchan. This is the Aruch HaShulchan, right? So he goes through it and he says, "V'achshav haminig ha'poshe b'chol tfutzis Yisrael, she'noisim hameis b'tzitzis, v'koidim she'menichem oisai b'kever." You carry the mace with tzitzis, and before you put him in his grave, noitkin tzitzis echad mehadalid tzitzias. You go ahead and remove one of the four. They wounded tzitzis even before you go to the kfura. It's better to go ahead and disattach it before the kfura. B'shemati b'birur al shnei gedoli adar echad tziva echamit hamidav sheyikbro yisai b'chol tzitziyasav. He went ahead and he told his talmidim to bury him. He told one talmid. He told one of his talmidim to bury him with tzitzis. V'oisei talmid kisheyagia lehalbashas tachrichav, and that talmid, when it came time to address the mace, chosh b'meyav, he got sick. He got a stomach disorder. V'yotza chutz, he went outside. V'oisam shel bishuhu, and the ones who addressed this gadol lo yadu mizeh, they didn't know about his ratzon to go ahead and be buried in kosher tzitzis. V'notgu achas me'at tzitzis, and they remove one of the tzitzis. Kinohig, like aminig. V'tekech nichnas oisei talmid, and then the talmid who had the stomach disorder, he came in and he said the hiskal litzlik and began to cry, scream out. V'amru hagadolim shahayu sham shezeu ois min hashemayim lebli l'shanos. Right? It's a minute from Shemayim. The fact that you got sick at that time when people were present and you weren't there to address the mace, it's a sign that you weren't supposed to go ahead and listen to him and put on a complete set of tzitzis. Vasheni, the second story is Kishnichu b'kever in kolat tzitzis, when they put the second gadol in his grave with all his tzitzis, this tabcha achas me'at tzitzis, it should say b'yesed, I think. One of the tzitzis got stuck on a peg or something, shebatoich hakever, the nitka me'atzma, and it broke itself. They saw with their own eyes that in the Shemayim you're supposed to go ahead and cut off one of the tzitz. Harishain, the first story, Hoya Gra, is Rabbeinu Eliyahu. Vasheni Hoya Chasid Mezal Meharadna Bal Yisoy B'Shorish Avoida. Also from Vilna Yid Shetziva Gamkein LaNichai B'Cholat Tzitzis. He also, so the Gra and the Yisoy Shorish Amuna, they wanted to go Avoida, want to be buried in their tzitzis, and Hashem decided, no, Hashem decided that we're not going that way. We're not going that way. So I thought it was, from Agadata, you can go ahead and derive halacha. So they wanted to derive halacha from this Agadata that the Mesei Midbar were buried at tzitzis. You can't go ahead and ascertain that, because after all, you see what? You see that they went in, they were alive. And then you have Rabbeinu Tam saying that not everyone was it's be'edus on you, whether you kept it or not. The shayla is, guys, whether it's loig l'roish. In other words, you go ahead, whether you're loig l'roish by cutting off the tzitz, so you're telling them you can't keep the mitzvah tzitzis. By tchias hamesim, you're going to come back and you're not going to have a full set of tzitzis. Nonetheless, this is the minig of, according to the Ashkenazim, and this is what we do. The Gra and the Yisrael Sheres Avoida, who were Bnei Ashkenaz, HaKadosh Baruch Hu made sure that they would not be wearing their tzitzis.
Rabbi,
okay.
What was that sefer you just quoted?
The Aruch HaShulchan, Shin and Aleph. The Aruch HaShulchan, Shin and Aleph. I think it's a very appropriate, very geschmack to give a little flavor to this halacha. Okay, the 13th Maisa. Amali. So Rabbi Chana said that this Arab said to him, Te'achvi lach Har Sinai. Should I show you Har Sinai? Azul Chazi, the Hadrele Akrave. There was scorpions surrounding Sinai. It seems the scorpions are. We said that the mission of us, be careful by the fire of the Chachamim, because it's similar to it's like similar to the sting of a scorpion. So this refers to making sayag l'Torah, putting a sayag around the Torah, and the kaima bechamrei chavarte, and these were there standing there like white donkeys. In Shiras Devorah, it says that the Holchi Rechvi Asoinais, they compare the tzaddikim going from city to city learning Torah. Shamati Baskol Shemeres. So Rabbi Chana heard a Baskol Oili shenishpati. Whoa, that what HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, I swore to put my people in Gullus. The achshav shenishpati mimefuli, and now that I swore, go ahead, Rod, and be made for it. So Kiyasa, the Kamei de Rabbanan, when Rabbi Rachana came, Amullah, they told him the same thing as they said the last time. Kol Abba Chamrav, Kol Bachana Sivcha is a fool. You should have gone ahead and be made for Kodesh Baruch Hu's neder. But who and why Rabbi Chana not be made for the neder? Who savar dilma shuasa the mabel? Who maybe it's the shua of the mabel not to bring a mabel on the world again, right? So why would he be made for that? It's good news. Rabbanan, they didn't like Rabbi Chana's taina. Im Kain oily lumely. Why would Kodesh Baruch Hu say woe to me? Why would he say woe? If it's not to destroy the world, it's a good thing. But Mishnah, if it's gullus, woe that I'm gullus. So this neder is depending upon us. In other words, the neder is only chal when we're not right to be redeemed. If we're royal to be redeemed, then the neder is not chal. Amalei. So the Arab again continue on Rabbi Rachan. The Arab said, "Hey, achvelecha beluye the kairach." I'll show you where the ground where kairach was swallowed up. Chazi trade busy. They saw two cracks in the ground. Vavikam mafke kutra, and there was smoke coming up there. Shakal gavavodim. The Arab took some wool. The shina b'maya. He soaked it in water. Udat sisa beroisha derumcha. He stuck at the head of his spear. Ba'ailei hasam, and he stuck it in the crack. He afik, and when he took it out, it was all burnt. So Amali, the Arab said, "Atzis my shemata." Do you know what they're saying? Ushemayis davi amrin, and he heard Moshe v'seirasa yemes v'hein badoyin. That Moshe and his Torah are emes, and they're a bunch of liars. Amalei, the Arab said, "Kol tilsi yoim," and every 30 days, mahadaluhu gehenim lahachad. Every day they get shaken up and they go to Gehenim. And kibasa keklachas, like a meat, it goes stirred in a pot. The Amri Hachi, and they say, Moshe v'serasa yemes v'hein badoyin. Okay. Amali, so the Arab told Rabbi Rachana, Te achvilecha heicha de nashke ara urkike urkia hadadi. I'm going to go show you where the place where the earth and Shemayim, they touch each other. That the earth and the Shemayim touch each other. The earth and the Shemayim touch each other is people learning Lishma, and anyone who learns Torah Lishma is offered the best of both worlds. So that's what it means. The symbolization that it's touching each other, Shemayim v'aretz. Okay, and Shakilta l'siltai. Okay, Hecha de Nashki Ara Rukia Adadi. Shakolte l'siltai is nachte bekamsa de Rukia. He said he took his basket that he would carry bread in it, and he put it in the window of the Rukia. Adematzlina be'isei v'lei ishkachase. He went to Davin and he went back to get his basket, but it wasn't there. So Aminalei said to the Arab, "Ikka gadvi hacha, are they ganovim here?" So Amali said, "Hi galgal of the rakia hu dehada." It's the galgal of the rakia that rotates, and your basket is going around, not the rad like a Ferris, like a merry-go-round, not the rad l'macha hacha mishkachasle. You stay here, and tomorrow what it'll come back. So the window, it seems that the window symbolizes the place where food is passed to man. And Rabbi placed his bed there in the window, and he left. It symbolizes the bitachon that he had in the Kodesh Baruch Hu. And even that, so, and what happened? He came back expecting to find bread, and it was gone. So even people who are great, who can have a poor mazel, they can be poor. So wait till tomorrow, wait till Olam Haba, and then you'll be paid back. So the symbolization that his bread basket was gone was, despite his bitachon on Kodesh Baruch Hu, he was lacking bread, basic food, and he was poor. And then the Arab said it's going to come back, that the world's a galgal, in the next world, Bez Hashem, that's when you'll get it. Rabbi Yochanan Mishtoi, Rabbi Yochanan said over the following. So we leave Rabbi Barachana and we come to Rabbi Yochanan. Zimna Chada, one time, Havikra Zilna Bisvina, so I was going in a ship. The Chazina Nahu Kavra, I saw a fish. The Afgela Resha Miyamama, he stuck his head out of the water. With the Maya Einai, his eyes appeared Kitrei Sahare, like two moons. Right? Hesh, you did Kiddush Glavana tonight? Okay, just I said that for Benji, who's not here. The Nafitz Maya Mitartes Zame, and the water came out of its two nostrils. Kitrei Mavre the Surah, like the two rivers of Surah. So Torah is compared to water, we know that. Torah is compared to water, and Tamachim Mecham are compared to fish, right? And if you're out of the water, you're in Amaretz, right? So just like the moon absorbs the light of the sun, that's what its two eyes were like the moon. So too, the Amoritz could, if he goes ahead and gets a Rebbe, he can go ahead on and absorb the Torah from his Rebbe. And the two nostrils, the Torah that nostrils, the af, there's two ribbons in Surah. There were two yeshivas in Surah. Okay, Rav Safra Mishtoi, Zimna Choda Havi Koazilna B'Svina. So I was going on a boat. The Chazina who covered the Afke L'Reishim. Yeah, we just did that one. No, we didn't do this one. The Afke L'Reishim Mama, the Havile Karne, it had horns. The Chokha Galera, and the horns were engraved. I'm not Birya Kala, Shabayam, I'm a small barrier of the sea. The Havi Plasma Ab Parse, and I'm 300 parses long. The Zilna Lapuma Lavyasan, I'm going to be fish food for the Lavyasan. Lavyasan is this mythical, huge creature, which doesn't seem to be mythical, as we're going to see in a second. Ravashi, Ahu Iza the Yamu. That fish is called a sea goat. The Biksha Isle Karna. Seems like every animal on the earth has its parallel in the sea. And this was called a goat. The Biksha Isle Karna. It searches for its food and it has horns. Okay. So the mushal over here seems to be that, again, the same as above, that water is Torah, the fish is Talmud Chacham. The Karen is jealousy of Talmidei Chachamim and putting them down. And Kol HaPaisel B'atzmai Paisel. You see, right? Anyone who apostles, it apostles himself. So therefore, he's so, despite the fact that he's a small creature, he still considers himself 300 amas long. He's a Baal Gaiva. And this the Vyasan is a great Talmud Chacham who will overcome them. Okay. And Ravashi, by naming it, he was searching with his horns to I guess, to mean more people. Again, I'm just repeating what I paraphrased. I'm sorry. Rabbi Yochanan Mishtoi, Zimna Havikazilna Bisvinasa. He was going on a boat. The Chazina he kartalili. He saw a kartalisa. That was a chest. The Havika Mikboy be'avanim Torvis Margolias. It had on it precious stones and pearls. The Hodrile meaning the kavra the Mikri Karsha. It was surrounded by a fish called the Karsha, Nachis Amid, right? And a diver went down, Baramroy Lasui to bring it up. The Ragash, and the fish saw him coming. Uboy Shamti Latme. He wanted to go ahead and hit him in his thigh. The Shade Zika the Chala, but the diver, he threw a bottle of vinegar at him. The Nachas, and the fish left because of the smell of the vinegar. Nafik Paskol of Amarla, my Islacha Bahadi Katalisa, the Visu, the Rav Chanina ben Daisa. What are you doing with the chest of the wife of Rav Chanina ben Daisa? The Asida, the Shadya Tchiltaba. But in it, there's going to be Tcheles, Litzadik La Alma Asid. You know, we have mices with Chanina ben Daisa, his wife. They prayed, and they came down a golden chair. And he saw in Shemayim, you can have 3 legs and not 4 legs, 3 legs. And she davened, it came Gemara Brachas, it went back. Said it was greater than that it went back, then it came down. So she had huge shlusim. So the kartalisa is the schar for olam haba, right? You look at it outside, but you can't see the inside. The Gemara in Brachas says that what's waiting, the Nevi'im can only be mistava certain things in this world, but they can't speak about the next world. So this kartalisa, by symbolizing the precious gems on the outside, that's what you see. But the inside, you didn't see. Right? And the fish surrounding it, because only Talmid Chacham can get in. The diver tries to get it, and he's chased away. Okay. This is the last story that I'm going to explain. Dov, I'm blaming you for this. Rabbi Yehuda Hindoi Mishtoi. Rabbi Yehuda, who was from Hindu, was India, in Ethiopia. I don't know which one that is. Zimnachad Havi Azilna Besfinasi was going in a boat. The Chazina who Evan Toivi saw this precious gem. The Havi Chodole Tanina was surrounded by a tanin. Tanin is this big fish. Nachis by Amaroi Lasuyoi. Diver went down to get it. Asa Tanina Kaboy Lemivla Loisvinasa. This big fish was going to come and go ahead and swallow the boat. Asa Pishkanta Paske Lareshe. So as we saw, this female raven came and chopped off the the fish's head. Asifchu maya v'havedama. All the blood was gushing into the water, and asu tanina chavre. Another tan came along. Shakle v'talyale took the precious stone and hung it on the dead fish. The chaya came to life. Hadasi kaboy bolo l'sfina. So that fish wanted to go ahead and swallow the ship again. Hadasi tzifra paskel reisha. The bird came and knocked off its head again. Shaklulahi Evan Tova. The diver then took the stone, shadul l'sfinas, and threw it in the boat. Avihani tzifra maliche bahadan. There was salted fish in the boat, and now what happened? Asfinu alayu, and the diver put the stone on top of them. Shaklua, they came to life. Uparchulu bada, and flew off with the stone. Okay. It's the Malbim. The ship is a person. Devin Toivis is Seichel. The Tanin is the Taiva, the black Seichel. We have to be like a raven, cruel to our body to overcome the Yetzer Hara. The Yetzer Hara will use intellect to confuse. How can you be cruel? So much dam. But ultimately, Sichlius will win out. And that's why it was, even though it came back to life, it was thrown back on the ship. Okay, Tan Rabbana. Meister Rabbi Eliezer Rabbi Yeshua. Shahayu boyim besvina. Rabbi Eliezer Yashin, he was sleeping. Rabbi Yeshua Neir, he was awake. Nizdaza Rabbi Yeshua, and Vinia Rabbi Eliezer. Rabbi Yeshua, he trembled, and as though Rabbi Eliezer woke up. Amalai Maza Yeshua. If they man Nizdasata, why were you trembling? Amalai Mar Gadol Bayam. I saw in the sea a great light. So Amalai Shema Einav Shel Levyasan. You see, maybe you saw the light of the Levyasan. The Chsiv Einav Kefafeya Shachar. Its eyes are like what? Are like the afapoyim, the eyelids of Shachar of the morning. Amravashi Amali Huna Bar Nasan. Zimnecha Havi Kod Zilman Madbara. We're going in the midbar. Have a atma de bisra ba'adan. We had an atma de bisra. We had a leg of meat, and pisachna v'nachrina. We cut it open, and I guess we took, if it nikor, I guess they took out all the sciatica nerve, then to get a nasha and all the fats and stuff. V'nachta isvei, and we put the herbs on it. Go ahead and cook it. At the ma'asit sivi, while we're going ahead getting wood to cook it with, cholam atma. All of a sudden, the Adma got back to what it was. The Tavina, we roasted it whole. Ki Hodjo, when we turned to the watch, right? The Basra Tracy Yachisha, so we got the same place 12 months later. Chazin and Lahadu Goin Mei Dahavikum Malachshe. We saw that the coals that they used, they were still glowing. And Kiosla Kameda Meimar, when they came for our Meimar, Amelie said, Ahu Isva Samtere Have. That herb was Samtere. This seems Samtere means to be able to make something that was you'd put it on a wound and it would go ahead and cure the wound. So when they went ahead and they put this herb on the cut up shank, the leg, it went back to being whole again, right? That's why it was whole again. And ahu goimre the rismahabe, and those coals, they were coals of roisim wood, which seems to last again, think that they last 12 months is a long time. Now the Gemara goes ahead and begins to discuss the Levyasan. It says Vayiril kimes taninim hagedolim. Now Rashi says in Chumash, guys, if you were to Taninim, it's missing a Yud. If you look at the word Taninim, it should be Hey Tes Nun Yud. It should be Nun Yud Mem. It's missing a Yud before the Mem. It's because the Kodesh Baruch Hu killed in a cave and salted away Lasud Lavai. So this is the source for Rashi. Rashi is saying it. This is the source. So these are huge Taninim, right? Hachet Tergamu in Babel they said that what it's Arzile Diyama. It's the Re'im of the Yam. When you said reim is like some rhinoceros, a huge animal. Rabbi Yochanan Amar, Zil Levyasan Nachash Periach, the Levyasan Nachash Aklasan. It's the Levyasan that's a straight snake or a crooked snake. And it's a pasuk in Yecheskel. Shnemar, V'yomahu Yifkar Hashem B'charboy Hakasha. Where is that? Okay, because pasuk's not telling us everything. It says, "Vayomu Yifkar Hashem b'charba yakoshev hagdoila v'achazaka al Levyasan nachash barach v'al Levyasan nachash akalsain v'chorag es hatanin asher bayom." So you have a pasuk saying that in Yecheskel describing two Levyasan. One is a straight snake, and one is a curved snake. So Simin Kol Shal Yardin. Amrav Yehuda Amarav. Kol Ma Shebar Kodesh Baruch Hu Ba'alamai. Zacha Keva Barum. Everything that Kodesh Baruch Hu created in this world, he created Zacha and the Keva. Aflav Yasa Nachash Bariach. He even created a Nachash that was straight. Ul Yasa Nachash Aklasan. Zacha and the Keva Barum. They were created male and female. If they would have procreated, they would destroy the whole world because of what? They were so huge. So Ma'asa Kadosh Baruch Hu, what did Kadosh Baruch Hu do? Sirei says Hazacha. He went ahead and he sterilized the male. V'harag in a cave and killed in a cave. He sterilized the male that he shouldn't go ahead and have relations with some other creature, right? And v'harag in a cave. Umachlet tzaddikim lasulav, and he salted the cave for the tzaddikim in the future. Shenema v'harag satanan asher bayom, which we just mentioned at the end of the pasuk in Yecheskel. And va'af behemois bahari olive. That's behemois again is the corollary of the Leviathan in the sea. This is in the dry land, and the Leviathan of 1,000 hills. Every day it would go ahead and it would eat 1,000 from 1,000 hills. It would eat the grass, and Hashem miraculously brought it back. Zachem cave barim. They were created male and female. V'mali niskakim zelizeh machrivin es kol olam kulay. Masa Kadosh Baruch Hu Sirius hazacha. Again, he sterilized the zacha with sinan and a keva. He didn't salt away in a keva, but he cooled her down. Meaning, he said that she wouldn't have a desire for procreation. Ushmar le tzaddikim v'asulabe, and he preserved it for the tzaddikim in the next world. Shnemar hine nakoyach b'masnav ze zachar v'oinay b'shvius bitnois and a keva. Fredmar Hasan Nami the Sirse l'zachar l'sainin l'keva. So why by the Leviathan did he kill in the keva? Why don't you go ahead and just make sure that she would have a desire for procreation? It says more dumb and pritze. Dumb and fish are not that way. It's interesting. HaKadosh Baruch Hu did something. You see, within Teva, HaKadosh Baruch Hu works within Teva of the animal. So an animal can go ahead and play hard to get, but fish not. Anyway, why didn't do the exact opposite? He could have killed the male and sterilized the female. He by the same in the keva melicha male that salted in the cave is better than salted zachar. He by the same kivin the chsiv, it says Leviathan say yitzarta l'sachik boy because Baruch Hu created Leviathan to go ahead and laugh with it. But had they in the cave it would not have been proper for Kadosh Baruch Hu to laugh with in the cave. Therefore, he killed in the cave and salted and kept the zachar. Hachanami lemilchil in the cave. So now they could have killed her and salted the. Why did he go ahead by the behemoths? Why did he go ahead not salt it away? Why did he go ahead? Why didn't just take away the taiva for procreation? It says it's better salted smoked fish than beef jerky. It says that. It seems that salted fish is better than that. The Amr of Yehuda Amar Rav. The Shosha Bikis HaKadosh Baruch Hu Livrayas Ha'olam, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu wanted to create the world. Amalei l'sar shel yam, he told the sar of the sea, Pasach pichu bola kol meimesh ba'olam. Go ahead, open your mouth, swallow all the water of the world. Amal fun of the b'nei shel Dai she'emay b'shali. It's enough. I swallow my own water. How can I swallow all the water in the world? Miyad bat hagar. HaKadosh Baruch Hu kicked it and he died. Shneimar b'koyach roga hayam usvunasoi mochatz rohav. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, he split the sea with his strength, and with his bina he hit Rahav. So Rahav seems to be the one that's proud. It seems to be that this was this malach. Amreb Yitzchak Shmamina Sar Shel Yom Rahav Shmai. The Sar of the sea is called Rahav. That was his name. The Mali Mayim Mechasan, I say, not the fact that the water covered it up. It seems to be like it's a really, really bad odor, right? That was killed and it's floating in the sea. So the water covers it up because it would have been like pretty bad. Okay, Mayim Layom Mechasan. That says the water of the sea covers it. Articulate Layom Mechasan. Don't write Layom Mechasan. El Sarish Shal Yom. It's covering the Sarah Mechasan. El Sarish Yom Mechasan. Don't write Layom Mechasan. Put in the word. It's covering what the Sarish Shal Yom. It's covering the Sarish Shal Yom. From Rabbi Yehuda Marav, Yarden Yoitze Moras Pamyas. The Jordan River. It starts from the river of Pamyas. That's Banyas. If you've ever been there, Banyas. Tanyanami Hachi. Yarden Yoitzim Moras Pamyas. The Yarden starts from the cave of Pamyas. Umahalach biyom shel Sifchi ubiyom shel Tveria. It goes through the yam of Sifchi and the yam of Tveria. Umiskalgul v'yori liyam hagadol goes down to the Mediterranean. Umiskalgul v'yori, and then further goes down at Shemagia lepivshal v'yasan until it gets to the mouth of v'yasan. Shnemar yiftach ki yagiach yarden el piyai. Right, that the yasan has confidence that the yarden is going to flow into its mouth. Maskala Rav Ula Haibe behemois bahari elef ksiv. That pasuk is not speaking about the. It's not speaking about the v'yasan. It's speaking about what? Speaking about the behemoths, the animals in the land. When in the behemoths of the 1,000 hills, how do you know they're going to stay alive? That's only when the Levyasan stays alive as a result of the Jordan flowing into its mouth. As a result of the Jordan flowing water into its mouth. Okay, I guess we'll stop over here. Shir will be tomorrow morning, probably 9:15. Shir will be in the morning at 9:15.